Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. Thank you for being with me here today. I am Nazira Salahuddin, metric number 264000, and I will be sharing with you about 3 different treatment methods that are available for chronic kidney disease patients. Before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of chronic kidney disease before? Or maybe you are familiar with its synonym, kidney failure. Do you know that it is the 6th fastest growing cause of death worldwide, causing at least 2.4 million deaths every year? Now, this disease does not just happen naturally. In fact, it is highly influenced by our lifestyles and behavior. In Malaysia, it has become among the top diseases that are prevalent among our people. New Straits Times reported that statistically, more than 40,000 people are receiving dialysis treatments per year. Meanwhile, it is estimated that more than 7,000 new patients will be diagnosed every year. My mother was one of the newly recorded cases last year, when her kidneys finally lost all their functions after nearly 20 years of battling with diabetes, which is also known as the leading cause of the disease. Now, the news heavily affected us and changed our lives. Yet, despite the devastation, it has also exposed us to new knowledge and experience which we would otherwise have not known about the disease, especially its treatment methods. Therefore, let me share with you about the knowledge that we have gained from it, about the new treatment methods that can be taken by a chronic kidney disease patients in order to improve their health and continue their daily lives. Without further ado, let's begin with our first treatment method. The first treatment methods that can be taken by a chronic kidney disease patient is hemodialysis. It is one of the 2 major dialysis treatments, and hemodialysis treatment is a process where the excess waste and extra fluids in the patient's blood would be filtered outside their body. How is this done? Well, during the treatment process, the patient's blood will be pumped out using soft tubes that are connected to a dialysis machine. The blood will then be filtered using a dialyzer, which is also known as artificial kidney. This dialyzer is built to resemble our own kidney, where it has numerous very thin hollow fibers for the blood to pass through. Those fibers will then filter all the excess waste and extra fluids in the patient's blood before the purified blood is pumped back into the patient's body. For patients undergoing hemodialysis treatments, each of them will be provided with a set schedule that allocates fixed time slots for them to get the treatments in the dialysis center. It is recommended that the patients get 3 treatment sessions per week for optimal results, with each session usually lasts between 2 to 4 hours each time. However, the duration of each session could vary between shorter or longer depending on the patients themselves, as more specifically their fluids intakes. This is because the more fluid intakes that they take every day, the more time will be needed to properly filter their blood. Hence, it is why the patients undergoing hemodialysis treatments are usually put through restricted diet of maximum 500 milliliters of water of fluid intake daily in order to prevent excess fluids in their body system. Can you imagine living with not more than this much fluid intake daily in your life? I mean, this is not even enough to quench my thirst. And besides, the limit of the 500 ml fluid intakes daily does not mean just water, but it also includes the fluids from your meals. So you cannot have watery meals such as soup, and you also have to limit your intake of fruits such as watermelon because of their high level of fluids inside. Despite that, hemodialysis treatment is still a well-known and popular option among chronic kidney disease patients due to its established safety. This is because hemodialysis treatments are handled by professional healthcare workers. They have gone through proper and thorough training. Therefore, they would have better knowledge about the treatment processes and precautionary measures during emergency situations. In addition, the dialysis centers are also well kept and sanitized by the healthcare workers, diminishing the possible poor hygiene and sanitary issues that could put the patients at the risk of infections. Therefore, the patients would be put at more ease and also be more reassured about their safety. So, now that we have learned about the first dialysis treatment method, which involves the filtering of our blood outside our body, let's take a look at the second dialysis treatment method. The next dialysis treatment method that can be chosen by a chronic kidney disease patient is peritoneal dialysis method. It is also known as home dialysis. Compared to hemodialysis, this dialysis method is done every day and the blood is actually filtered inside the patient's body, where the lining of their abdomens would act as a natural filter. For peritoneal dialysis treatment, a soft tube or catheter would be placed inside the abdomen of the patient through a minor surgery. The functions of this tube is to allow a cleansing solution called dialysate to be flowed inside the abdomen of the patients, where it will be kept for several hours. During the time, all the excess fluids and extra waste in the patient's blood would be passed into the solution. After the time is up, the used solution would then be drained into an empty bag to be discarded, and a fresh solution would be refilled into the abdomen for the next dialysis cycle. Compared to hemodialysis treatments that have fixed time slots, peritoneal dialysis is much more flexible. This is because since the patients are trained to set up all the required tools themselves, they can have the treatments wherever they are, be it in their own home or in the hotel while they are traveling. In addition, although it is recommended for the patients to change their cleansing solutions 4 times a day or after every 6 hours, the patients have more freedom to do either from 3 to 7 short or long treatments per week at whichever time they feel is best for them. Besides that, peritoneal dialysis treatment is also a highly encouraged treatment method due to its low cost. Do you know that the individual treatment fees for hemodialysis could reach up to 4,000 ringgit per month? This could sum up to almost 50,000 ringgit per year. Meanwhile, according to Datuk Seri Dr. Hilmi Yahya, the ex-deputy of Health Minister in 2017, peritoneal dialysis could cut the yearly treatment cost to 25,000 ringgit for each patient. Such a big difference, right? It is almost half of the original treatment fees for hemodialysis treatments. This is because the cost of the cleansing solutions required for the peritoneal dialysis is relatively lower than hemodialysis. In addition, the patients could also lessen the cost of traveling. After all, they will be doing the home dialysis treatment in the comfort of their own home. Therefore, there is no need for them to go back and forth between their home and the dialysis center, right? However, purifying the blood using artificial or the abdomen linings are not the only solutions that the chronic kidney disease patients can opt to. In fact, there is one final solution that they can choose, which is kidney transplant surgery. Kidney transplant is a treatment method that involves the taking of a healthy kidney and implanting it inside the patient's body through surgery. The kidney can be obtained from either a living or a deceased donor, depending on the suitability of the new kidney with the patient's bodies themselves. For this method, the patients are required to get a thorough medical evaluation from the professional experts in order to learn about their overall health level and also to identify any factors that might affect their ability to handle the treatment. Successful transplant candidates would then undergo an operation to place the new kidney inside their abdomen. Yes, you heard that right. The new kidney does not replace the old kidney. In fact, the old damaged kidney would stay in its place and would only be removed by the doctors if there is a strong medical reason for it to be done. Interesting, right? Well, after the surgery, the new kidney could then perform the functions of the patient's own kidney. However, they would have to take anti-rejection medicines every day for as long as they are alive or for as long as the kidney is functioning in order to prevent the body from attacking and rejecting the new kidney. Out of the 3 options, kidney transplant is the most expensive treatment. This is because it can reach up to 400,000 ringgit per surgery, and this might not include the follow-up medicines that they have to take after the surgery in order to maintain the functions of their new kidney. However, it is also the most preferable option. This is because patients receiving new kidney has better chance to improve their quality of life and get back to their old activities such as working or studying. They could also have more freedom as they no longer have to be restricted to continuous dialysis treatments, and they can have less restrictions on their dietary and fluid intake. Furthermore, according to National Kidney Foundation of the US, children or younger adult patients that receive new kidney has better chance to develop in as normal a way as possible during their formative years, meaning that they can enjoy a normal childhood like other kids. This is because they no longer have to spend their younger years going back and forth from their home and the hospital or the dialysis center. With that, it concludes all the available treatment options that one can choose should he or she is confirmed as a chronic kidney disease patient. In conclusion, getting diagnosed with chronic kidney disease does not spell the end of the world for both the patients and their families. In fact, With the advanced development of the technology nowadays, the patients are provided with more safe and effective treatment methods that can help them improve their lives, such as the ones that I have mentioned before, which are hemodialysis, peritoneal dialysis, and kidney transplants. All these treatments have been proven to be effective in alleviating the effects of the disease and help the patients to continue living their lives as normally as possible. Therefore, all patients of all layers of age can still have a bright future in their upcoming years. However, the widespread of this disease should not be taken lightly. As it is highly influenced by our lifestyle and behaviors, I think it calls for a change in our ways of lives so that we can prevent this incurable disease from affecting us and our beloved ones. Hence, I wish for everyone to always taking care of their health by getting healthy diets and always keeping themselves fit by exercising regularly. And with that, I end my speech here. Thank you for lending me your ears.